guys, hey you guys, okay, over there, hey you guys, hey you guys, okay over there, over there, hey you guys, okay. Ah, the friggin' shark! Good evening, folks, and welcome to Garbage Theater Shark Month 2019. We're back. I'm your host, Chase, with my co-host, Blake and John.
Yo.
Yeah.
Good to have you back.
Yeah, it's been 3 long years since I've been on this show. Like to think I've gotten a little older, a little wiser.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a few people out there that are ready for me and John to stop talking about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, can I say 2 things about Star Wars?
Oh,
I know
Lord.
this isn't the Star Wars episode, and it's not an argument. I promise you, it's just I wanted to weigh in on Solo and Rogue One.
Yeah.
And I can do it in just a couple seconds.
Okay.
And I'm sure y'all will agree with it.
All right.
I just wanted to say what my piece about it.
Go for
So
it.
I see those 2 extra movies like cheap hookers.
Okay.
Do you know?
So like Rogue One, okay, like it looked good, but it didn't try too hard. So it wasn't, wasn't really worth the money that you spent on it. And at the end, it tried to do something really, really fucking wild to blow your head off. But like you ran out of time and the pimp was knocking on the door for her to leave. So like that's Rogue One. And then you get to Solo and it's like, okay, well, she doesn't look too good, but she's eager. So like she's trying to please me. Not doing too good, but I mean, A for effort type of thing.
And we'll just
And
keep the lights off so you can't see it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So, she heard what the other hooker does, so she tries to do something really crazy at the end to blow your fucking mind too. But it didn't work because she's not that good looking. And then you're still left paying $20 with no satisfaction.
What a metaphor.
That's the insight that we've been missing these last 2 episodes. Oh my God.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So we will be doing a part 3 of our Star Wars special after the trace of us see Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Based on the leaks that me and Blake have been reading, I don't know. I don't know if I can defend this thing anymore.
Oh, man.
But that'll be
I have not read the leaks. I'm avoiding the leaks.
John's avoiding
Avoid
them.
Seriously, avoid them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
Because now I'm thinking, like, do I wait for a Korean handycam to watch this movie, or do I still go to the theater?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got tickets already, so
Yeah, we've got our tickets too. And
I want to go excited at least.
Yeah, don't look at the leaks.
Yeah.
Because the chances are they're wrong. Because how many times have we heard leaks before a Star Wars thing and they turn out to be true?
Yeah, and John, to not spoil anything, the leak sounds like if someone watched the trailer and just took the scenes they saw and just tried to weave the most dumbass story out of them they could. It really sounds like
that's what it does seem like.
Yeah.
So, hopefully
I just hope we're wrong.
I hope we're wrong. Yes, very much so. Anyway, we're not doing Star Wars.
Yeah, enough about Star Wars. Let's get to Sharkman.
Shark Wars.
The movie we watched 3.5 months ago. And this episode will be what the ancient Egyptians call a clusterfuck.
Yeah, this might not be our best, everybody, because I don't remember a damn thing about this movie. I'm also going to try not to hack and cough through this whole episode. We are all sick in this house over here, so bear with me. I'm going to do my best. But, yeah, Sharkman. The one thing I do remember was, how the hell did they make a shark movie and turn it into a fighting shit in the woods movie?
Pretty amazing, right?
That's true.
What the fuck? 90% of this movie takes place on land.
Yeah.
There's no boats. It's just
Well,
that's the man. That's the man part.
I say it is Sharkman.
Yeah. The shark part comes first. It's that man shark.
Well, technically, in this movie, the shark does come first.
Oh, Lord. That it does. Yeah, the other thing, this had all the makings of a Skinamax flick. But it didn't quite get there.
Yeah, they wanted this thing to have so much nudity in it, but they just they couldn't because of the TV.
Yeah.
Somebody's mom was on set every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think not that I wanted it to be a Skinamax movie, but if they leaned into the sleaziness a bit more and did up the gore, it could have been kind of a fun movie, I think.
Of course, John wants him to lean into the sleaziness.
Lean into the sleaze. It's a sleazy movie already, but just
I hope that's like John's critique of everything. Even if it's Jazz in the Park, it'd be a lot better if they leaned into the sleaze a bit.
Yeah, that's something I forgot to mention when we talked about Rogue One, is just not sleazy enough.
Oh man.
Glad we got the dichotomy back of all of us together. Okay, so let's get moving along because I got a bad feeling about this episode. Not to do another Star Wars thing. So we open on an uncharted island in the Western Pacific. A sailboat cruises along the coast as a couple look out into the water. They dive in to race each other to shore, and there's immediately 100 hammerhead sharks everywhere. They just dive into this super school of sharks. The shark attacks them. They start ripping their limbs off as they scream for their lives. Sharks. Cut to some lab where some scientists are doing experiments on women. They've got 3 in some tubes, and for some reason they've got electrodes hooked right up to the nips.
It's fucking crazy. There's they have tubes of women.
Yeah.
That are just standing still for some reason. And yeah, electrodes with tubes coming out of them. Don't forget.
Why do they even need to be in the tubes? It's not like they're in Bacta tanks or anything. It's just there's no water in it. It's just tubes.
Yeah.
No, just tubes.
It looks cool.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, this must have been really pushing the boundaries for TV. I mean, you're basically looking at the entire boob except the nipple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
everybody.
Well, that's the dirty part, as we all know.
Right.
That's the shameful part.
Yeah. Can't show those.
So, Dr. Krause points out that this is their 3rd attempt at whatever the hell they're doing that's yielded no results. They say that he's not responding to the treatment and that he's more shark than human now. And Krause prepares some kind of injection and sticks his hand into a tank and quickly gets his fingers bitten off. Dr. King tells him not to lose faith and that he has sent out the invitation to the others to come to the island. Whatever all that means. Cut to a helicopter flying in over the water towards the city. William Forsythe, a.k.a. Tom, walks into a woman's office, and she's surprised to see the head of the department coming to visit. They kiss, and he asks her to go to dinner, but she's got to work late. Cut to some other guy.
He's the IT, right? Is that
what?
Do we know he's the IT department, right?
Yeah,
the head of the IT.
The head of IT.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I just want to be clear on
the hero of this movie is the head of the IT department.
And unfortunately, he looks like the head of the IT department. But anyway, whenever I saw the chick, did anybody else long for late 90s haircuts on women again?
Yeah. I mean, no, I've never liked the late 90s, but...
Hush your mouth. That's the only thing I remember from this movie from 15 years ago was, oh yeah, back when chicks had cool hair.
Not according to John.
Yeah, no. Fucking, they didn't...
Not sleazy enough.
Sleazy enough.
Nah, not sleazy.
So, Cut to some other guy on his cell phone telling Harry that he sent his kids through Harvard, so you better listen up. And he's reassuring him that his money's safe, and even though their stock hasn't been performing lately, they're onto something big. So something big's on the horizon. Amelia, the woman from the last scene, is waiting for this new guy, Whitney. He's the older, I guess he's in charge of the whole company.
Yeah.
Yeah. He tells her that there's this new drug coming out and not to worry about their current stock price. And she's the head of R&D, so wouldn't she know if there's a new drug coming out or not?
Yeah.
It's kind of like right up her alley. He pulls up a page on his computer and, holy God, look at all this shit that I have to write down for questions. She asks how long that he's been in touch with Dr. King, and he says that they leave tomorrow to go out and meet him, and she has that long to decipher all this gobbledygook on this screen, whatever this means, that Dr. King sent him. Cut to later in a board meeting where she solved it. Hey, that was easy. She says that King may have answered the riddle of the stem cell, and Whitney says that he wants global rights to this for them to draw up a contract, and he tells Amelia that she's going to verify the science and to put everything between her and King behind her, so they've got history. Cut to
my notes for the verify the science is verifying the science seems like a lot of work. Like with the movie, just for some reason when they said verify the science, I was like, damn, that means that chick's gonna be busy.
Not really.
No.
So, cut to the office swimming pool where Amelia's doing some laps, and Tom walks in on her, and she hops out of the pool, which the surface of is now like glass.
And okay. This woman is a very attractive woman, swimming in a pool, and her IT boyfriend, who would never take his shirt off in a pool. Like, why are these two people together?
Yeah, he's not even really very handsome. He's got a weird face too.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even just that he's a schlub.
Now, I'm not saying that she's like the most attractive lady in the world, but she's good looking. Way out of this dude's league.
I mean, oh, big time. Big time.
Yeah.
The actress used to be like a model and stuff.
Yeah.
And this guy played Flat Top in the Dick Tracy movie. I mean, he looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
But they try to make him into this action star.
She's after that big IT brain.
Oh yeah, that's what she's after.
He's also got like an almost mullet.
Almost.
It's like if the back was partying just a little bit more.
Yeah, he's like
seedlings.
Like one more missed haircut appointment, and he's going to have a mullet.
So he wants to know the history of her and King, but she doesn't want to talk about it. And she finally says that she was engaged to his son Paul, who died 5 years ago of cancer. I wonder who the Sharkman is.
Well, don't give it away, Chase.
So she then goes down to the office tanning salon and gets in the tanning bed and shuts it. Cut back to the island.
While tears stream down her face. It's the saddest tan she ever got.
Back on the island, King, in voiceover, records a journal entry. And he says that after years of research, the injection finally worked. He goes on, and it seems like that they're slowing the transformation of this person into a shark for long enough so that it can mate with a human woman to bear a child that is the key to humanity's future.
Jesus Christ.
He'll have the
I love how the company is all like, oh, dang, it's like a cure for cancer and Alzheimer's and shit. And he's over here like, my shark-human hybrid is all messed up.
I also like how he's saying that the new treatment works, but it clearly doesn't.
Yeah, he's called Sharkman.
Yeah.
So, but he'll have the strength of a hammerhead shark and the intellect of a man. They put some drugged woman into a cage and hose her down so that her bra's nice and see-through. Something's in the cage with her as she stumbles around, and it jumps out, and the girl screams before we cut away. Meanwhile, at an airport, Tom and Amelia meet up with Jane and Bernie. Whitney and his new young lady friend arrive, and she saddles Tom with carrying her bags for her, and Amelia mocks them as they head to the plane. Cut to the island, where King again in voiceover tells us that the man is changing into a killing machine much too fast, and if he can't get him to successfully reproduce, then the dream of making a human capable of living underwater is lost. That's the goal.
His goals are so, like, gray. Like, I have no idea what he's trying to do, really. Is he trying to save his son? Is he trying to, like, save humanity? I don't know.
No idea. All I know is that there's some weird deformed baby thing laying in an incubator, apparently dead.
Well, oh god, when he says this, it sort of recontextualizes what happened to that woman that they threw in that cage.
Yeah,
and it really bummed me out. She just got like raped by an awful Sharkman.
Yeah. So, at least we didn't have to see it like in some of our other movies that dealt with this topic.
This is true.
Fair enough.
And it's a shame that we have a catalog of movies that dealt with this topic in the past. So Dr. Krause says that they should be using sharks that lay eggs, and it would be much easier. King says that the hammerhead giving birth to live young is better, and the subject and more subject to genetic alteration because of not having eggs. They return to the lab where a woman, the same woman, I don't know, seems to be going into labor.
Same woman.
Yeah, she's going into labor. They slice her stomach open and pull out her intestines, and they drag out this monster baby with a little shark tail on it.
This is pretty gross. But there's like a medical doctor there, and she's like trying to act concerned for the woman's health or whatever. She's like, her pulse is dropping. Yeah. I'm like, he's pulling her guts out.
They just hack her open and just start ripping stuff out of her.
Just like he's rummaging through a trunk, just like throwing shit out.
Oh, we don't need any of this. Let's get this out of the way.
Also, I don't remember if it's...
I don't even know what this is.
I don't remember if it's this point, and it may be another point in the movie where they're doing something similar. But they give the woman an injection to slow her heart rate. And then they start complaining that her heart rate is slowing. Like, well, don't give her a stupid shot then.
Shit, I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
So, she dies. They send her to the morgue for a postmortem. Meanwhile, on a boat, the team discusses what happened to King, that he was experimenting with cross-species experimentation, and Krause alerts King that the guests are getting closer as he feeds a mouse to his giant carnivorous plant that he has. Krause greets the team as they arrive and takes them into the main house. King meets them, and King's surprised to see Amelia there. The others are introduced, and King takes them on a tour. Jane can't get her sat phone to work, setting up that they have a sat phone. They all sit down to a lovely beachside barbecue, complete with a 3-eyed pig.
Yeah.
Like this is the goddamn Simpsons or something.
With the phone, though, she talks about how her sat phone isn't working. And this IT guy looks at the phone, like kind of looks at it, the case of it. And he's like, oh, yeah, I can fix it. Like, no IT guy can take a sat phone out in the wild and fix it. What's he going to do?
This guy can.
Yeah. Then
that's why he's landing those supermodels.
The audacity of the brand of this phone. Did y'all see that?
No. Maybe. It was 3 months ago.
It was a Yes Kia phone. Not a Nokia phone.
What on earth?
Son of a bitch.
Y'all didn't see that?
On earth? No, I didn't. Honestly, like, this movie bored the shit out of me.
This was a terrible watch.
Yeah, it was really awful.
Yeah, it's a Yes Kia sat phone.
But no.
That is terrible. At any rate. There's all these random people dancing around them while they eat. Amelia recognizes the female scientist, and she says that it's Kasia Medavinko, who was arrested in Prague last year for experimentation on humans. Later that night, the rando young people are still dancing and writhing around the stoic group who hasn't even moved. They're just sitting there while all these people are dancing around them. Fireworks erupt.
It's the entertainment.
Yeah. And some random couple are swimming. And
you know what? This would have been a great place for a four-tittied lady.
Yeah. Those goddamn vagina vipers, too. So, a random couple go out swimming, and they're eaten by the Sharkman. Cut to inside the lab.
Get fucked.
We're just breezing by like what should be the most interesting parts of the movie, but they're really not because they're over like that.
And then shit don't even like this half-ass fire festival doesn't even make sense. Like you're there to sell a drug. What are you doing all this shit for?
I don't know. It was a bad movie. I guess.
It's true.
So, cut to inside the lab where King is giving the group a presentation. He tells them that sharks don't get cancer, and no one knows how long that they live. And Jane wants him to cut to the point, and so he pulls out this projection, and he shows them that he built a microscope strong enough to see a single DNA strand, where he can pinpoint mutations at the source. And he tells them that this experimentation subject had kidney cancer, and no matter how much stem cell he injected, they never worked. And Amelia makes the connection that Paul had kidney cancer.
Can I say something about this microscope?
Wait a minute.
If this guy invented a microscope that could see a single strand of DNA, that alone would get him any funding that he needed.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah. He's good.
He's keeping that little nugget for himself.
Like, you sell that, you have no more worries about money. See a single strand of DNA? This fucking movie.
But he's gotta ruin it all with the... It's like... Also, I made a Sharkman.
Like, you could have done that on your own private thing. You wouldn't need these other people.
Yeah. You have all the funding to make as many shark people as you want.
Have your own Yes Kia phone account and just get all your employees their own phones. And
he doesn't even really seem to need the funding. He seems like he's quite wealthy. He's always like just offering to triple everyone's salaries all the time.
Yeah, but he's that's the reason he called them there, to get funding. Meanwhile, this dude is basically Robotnik's castle that he's got. He's got no worries.
No.
I mean, he's got enough scratch to keep bringing in these random hookers to get the electrodes hooked to their nipples. Where'd all them coming from?
That's a good question. They never show where he acquires all these subjects.
Because it's a remote island. How are they getting there?
Yeah.
He just keeps inviting various IT departments to come and visit him.
Do you think some of the people that we're seeing getting killed maybe aren't getting killed? The Sharkman.
Well, no, it's a movie. They don't really kill people, John.
I was waiting for the sigh. Anyway, he then explains that he used shark stem cells and the cancer went into remission in 2 weeks. And Amelia asks him if Paul is alive. And he opens up a window where Paul's being held and we see the Sharkman, and it's weird.
Very.
They don't show it for more than half a second at a time, though. So they're not that proud of it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of...
they did make there is a practical Sharkman in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of surprised by. But it does devolve into mostly CG at some point.
It's just kind of shapes.
Yeah, you never get a really solid look at the thing.
Whitney says that King's lost his mind and goes to leave when 2 armed guards enter the room and hold him at gunpoint. King says that he's the judge on this island, and he charges them with stealing his research years ago and sentences them to death. And he also apologizes to Amelia, as he didn't anticipate her being here and didn't want to drag her into this. So the guards knock Tom down and rush out the door so fast that one of them drops their gun in the room and locks the door behind him. What?
That's lucky.
The window begins to open and the water starts to flood in. Amelia tells the group to let the room flood so that they can reach this fan up towards the ceiling and get out. Tom grabs the AK and shoots out the fan, and the rest of them climb up the convenience ladder up to it. Paul, the friendly shark, finally gets into the room, and we get shots of it above and below the water. Tom starts shooting at it. He loses the gun and climbs up the ladder, and he's the last one through the vent. They make it to the roof, and Tom leads them to the edge where they fashion a rope out of all their shirts.
Yeah, but in the establishing shot before that, the rope's already there.
Yes. Yeah, it is. That's terrible.
What are you going to do? We're not paying attention to continuity on this guy.
Well, there's a couple points where something that's about to happen is happening in an establishing shot. It happens a couple times in this movie.
Yeah, it's true. It's garbage.
It's weird. I thought that I didn't remember a thing about this movie, but as we're talking about it, I'm remembering it very vividly.
It's coming back. Yeah. Also, so when they get to I think it's when they get to the top of the ladder and go through the vent, the scene just fades out awkwardly. Right. And I think this is the first time, and it goes on to do it a bunch of times throughout the movie, but is that the commercial break?
Possibly.
It could be. Yeah. That would explain it.
Yeah, I mean,
place to put it. So they make their way down. King watches on a security monitor, and another voiceover tells us that Paul's tracking beacon has been damaged. King instructs the security to let them escape so that Paul can hunt them down and maybe get a chance to mate with Amelia.
Ew.
Hell yeah.
Two of King's men scuba dive down to repair the underwater fencing that's lost power. They open up a box and start cutting wires. Is that how you repair something? Just start slicing the wires off of it.
That's what I do. Nothing in my house works, though.
So Paul attacks them before they can finish, though. Back with the group, Tom thinks the reason Jane's sat phone doesn't work is that there's a jammer on the island, and if they can find it, he can override it because he's an IT wizard.
But also knows how to handle an AK.
Yeah.
So
he's like fucking Dwight from The Office. He takes survivalist training on his off time.
Well, I wanted to make jokes about the IT guy knowing how to use AKs and stuff, but then I thought about it, and there's been a few different IT guys that I know that came from the Army, so I'm like, well, maybe. But this guy doesn't. Doesn't look Army strong, if you know what I'm saying. He looks
from the Krispy Kreme Army.
No, he looks Piccadilly weak.
So the next morning, King instructs one of his copter pilots to look for the group, but he only needs to bring Amelia back alive. And just like that, we're in a fighting shit in the woods movie.
And they're being tracked by a shape-shifting helicopter too. That's two different helicopters. And they had no problem not giving a fuck of saying, yeah, there's two different helicopters, but we're just gonna pretend it's one.
Who's gonna be able to distinguish helicopters from? I don't know.
I don't know. Just a normal helicopter, then a UN helicopter, then the normal helicopter again. Nobody knows that shit.
Nah. So,
nobody's watching this movie.
Nobody will ever see this.
So they make their way to the docks, but they're worried that it's a trap. They sneak underneath the dock to get a closer look at the men on the boat. They plan to bribe the captain, so Tom, Bernie, and Whitney swim out to the boat in broad daylight in view of the guard who's looking in that direction.
Yeah, and in the establishing shot, they're already on the boat before they start swimming to it.
So they get on board and offer to pay the captain to help them, but before they can finish, he pulls a gun, and all hell breaks loose as Tom hijacks the boat while the other two fight off the crew. Two guards unload about 1,000,000 bullets at the boat, but seem to hit nothing. They hit nothing but their own men.
Also, a quick firearm thing. So the guys on the dock and whatnot, they're shooting AKs, and there's just the iron sights on the AK, but then there's a camera shot where, as if you're looking through a scope, there's no scope on the gun.
Who's gonna notice these details?
I don't know. Any fucker paying attention?
Details, schmeetails. So, the guards eventually do hit some red barrels that happen to be on the boat, which ignite a fire, obviously, which blows up the boat just as the three men jump off. The guards spot Paul in the water and assume that the three men are dead because they're not going to get away from Paul the Shark Boy. Tom and Whitney make it back to the shore, but Bernie's lagging behind. And Tom opens the nearby shark control box and gets a pole or something and dives into the water.
Fucking hilarious. The shark control box.
So,
interestingly enough, Bernie, that's what they call all those women in the tubes too.
Oh. So, damn it. Bernie gets attacked, but Tom zaps Paul with the stun baton and runs him off. Tom pulls Bernie to shore, but he's missing one of his legs. They try to help him, but Whitney wants to leave him. He takes the sat phone and Julie, his young girlfriend, and they head for high ground, leaving the rest with the wounded Bernie. Whitney recites Shakespeare as he leads Julie through the jungle, and Paul's watching from the bushes. Julie's suddenly attacked by sentient vines that come out and wrap her up. Because why not throw that into this movie?
Well, I think that's what they were trying to set up with the plant, the carnivorous plant. Yeah,
that everything's weird on this island.
Yeah, they really don't. They don't.
I thought it was just like some overzealous person on the crew that was like thought he was the only person that saw Evil Dead and was like, well, let me throw something in there that's edgy. Wah wah.
Yeah, it could totally be an Evil Dead thing. But they just don't take this stuff that far, It's just like there's one plant that attacks somebody at one time.
Yeah, that's it. And nothing else really that weird happened. There's no other weird things on the island.
No.
Nope.
Other than the man shark. So...
No, there's nothing else weird on the island except for the man shark and the three-eyed pig and the and the shark control box.
So Whitney cuts her free. The rest of the group haul Barney through the jungle, and they come across some of King's men setting up a trap. Tom attacks them, and he tosses the guard into his own trap, impaling him on the stakes hidden in the pit.
They're trying to do the spike pit in the middle of the woods.
Yep, it's like a cartoon.
Oh, fuck.
It's absurd. I also want to say, Tom takes off his belt to, wrap around Bernie's stump to stop the bleeding. I wanted so badly for him to just have to keep, hiking his pants up for the rest of the movie.
like
They're
Chris
just constantly falling down.
But no, because
that would have made me happy.
Would have made me happy too. Also, his leg, I was actually I kind of dug this. His leg wasn't totally severed, so when they're dragging him through the woods,
you're right.
There's this foot dangling by a string, just going along behind him, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty fucking gruesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty.
So Tom does though get a replacement belt from this guard that he just killed.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But he doesn't really he just kind of wraps it around his waist. He doesn't thread it through the loops or anything. So he's got a gun and a knife now, and they continue on their way. Whitney and Julie find the highest ground that they can, and they make their way up to it. And Whitney thinks as long as that they're out of the water that they're safe. And this being a shark movie, you'd think that would
Correct.
be true. But then the helicopter spots him and shoots a goddamn rocket at Whitney and blasts him down the mountain. So why not at this point?
Yeah, I mean, King's got a private military. He doesn't need funding.
No, he doesn't.
He's all set.
So Julie, now alone in the jungle, is pursued by Paul. She picks up the pace, but Paul rushes out of the woods and tackles her to the ground and kills her. The others pass by a bloody patch of leaves, which I guess is where Julie died. So they make it back to the compound, but Paul's closing in. Tom fires some shells off.
Sharkman.
Tom fires some shells off, but Amelia can't get the door open. Tom, IT wizard, hacks the panel and gets him.
Hack the world.
Tom just kind of lets Paul take Bernie as they all get inside and lock the door. Poor Bernie.
Oh,
he made it all that way, leg dangling.
Yeah.
Further in, they discover the laboratory. King spots them on the security cameras again and sends some men to kill Tom and capture Amelia and Jane. Tom notices the camera and covers it up, but they stay in the room.
Yeah. But they're not going to be like, hey, check that room out.
Yeah, they saw us in this room. Better stay put. So
it'd have been funny if, like, I thought that he was going to hack the camera somehow. But I guess technically he did, I guess, but
pull a speed on him.
He just pops the side open and starts cutting wires.
Yeah. Now if we look into the camera, we'll see who's looking at us. Dumb bastard.
So Amelia starts up a computer as Tom grabs a bunch of random stuff from a cabinet. Amelia finds out that Paul has a problem with nitrogen, and they might be the key into killing him. And then Tom sets up this Dennis the Menace style trap for any of the guards that might be coming by with this bottle of formaldehyde up on the door.
Which wouldn't do anything. I mean, yeah, you don't want formaldehyde on you, but it isn't like it's going to instantly kill you.
Well, he puts the jar of formaldehyde on the door jamb, and then he's got like a pail of something else at the bottom, and when they come in contact with each other, they blow up.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I'm the idiot. My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, at first I thought, he's just going to get formaldehyde all on him. It's just going to be a little stinky.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want it on you, but it ain't going to stop you from shooting your AK at the bastard who set up this silly trap.
So, meanwhile, a guard finds chunks of Julie in the woods, but he keeps moving. He gets to the place where they're at, and he throws open the door. The bottle falls, and it blows up the room like a nuclear goddamn bomb.
That's what made it blow up. Now it all makes sense.
So, meanwhile, Whitney stumbles around the woods when a couple of guards drive up behind him. He hides in the woods, but he drops the sat phone in the path, which the guard spots. They stop and investigate. They spot Whitney and attack him. They throw him in the Jeep and drive off.
What was with all this crappy green screen in the Jeep? Like, they have a Jeep.
They're in the woods.
They have the woods. Just fucking film it.
It can't just run along the side of the Jeep. You need two Jeeps.
And it was it was Seinfeld
just
level,
like a camera mount.
like car green screen stuff.
Yeah,
just get a camera mount. Listen to Mr. Moneybags over here.
Look,
you can't be doling out money for camera mounts.
It just reminded me of Seinfeld when they were driving. I thought one of the guards was going to stop short.
Or start bragging about what a great parker he is.
So the guard's driving. Goes back to the lab. King goes on and on about how great hammerhead sharks are. Some more, and I mean, if hammerhead sharks are so great, I don't understand why Paul's having all this trouble hunting and killing this group.
He sounds like when you're a kid and you get obsessed with a certain type of animal. Like, that's what he sounds like.
Yeah. A reticulated python, the apex predator, because I like it a lot. That's right. So the guards driving Whitney through the jungle are attacked by Paul. They get out to shoot him, but one's quickly killed, and Whitney drives the Jeep away in the confusion. The remaining guard makes it back to the guard base house. He calls King, who offers triple the salary if he gets back out there and finds them. Dr. Medovinko isn't happy with how all this is going, and she storms off. King tells Krause not to worry, because there's no way to get off the island. Tom, Amelia, and Jane spot Whitney driving by, and they yell out to him, distracting him long enough to plow full speed into a tree. He tells them that Julie was eaten alive, something that he wasn't there for. He tells them that he can fly a helicopter if they can find one. Medovinko shows up to help them. One of the guards spots them and informs the search chopper of their location. It arrives and starts blasting rockets all over the goddamn place. Medovinko gets thrown over the side of a cliff and thrown into the water below. Paul immediately eats her, and he's always where he needs to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, don't you know that's one of the awesome things about hammerhead sharks.
Their head acts like a radar.
They're just everywhere. The guard goes back to the lab to tell King that Medovinko is dead. The others head to the helipad to steal a helicopter. Jane suddenly breaks out in hives and she's screaming that she feels like she's on fire. She rushes down to the...
What was this about? Like, I have no idea what happened here.
One of them crazy plants got to her.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but it feels like the actor was just like, all right, I'm out.
It was all
Yeah. She was, yeah. They're just like pleading with her to get out of the water. No, my character's dying. Fuck off.
No, I'm not making it.
It was also another one of those rare times where I've really felt sorry for the person. Because I was like, man, that'd be terrible to feel like your whole body's on fire. And I felt like bad for her. But it was a stupid premise to get into a mud puddle full of water for a shark to attack you.
Yeah, that was exactly the thing. I don't understand. Like, we've seen it running around on land before. There's no reason to have, like, an excuse to get her down by the water.
Yet they did it anyway.
Yeah. They did it anyway.
So, she runs down. She's at the water. Tom and Whitney bicker about leaving her. Paul pulls Jane in and kills her too. Whitney runs off in terror, leaving Tom and Amelia behind. This is where I notice, for fuck's sake, there's still a half an hour to go in this goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Surely it should be winding down by now. Meanwhile, Krause goes out with a tracking device to find Paul and bring him back to the lab. He starts chumming and is immediately attacked and killed.
He seemed so confident in what he was doing. Like King has told him to do this a million times, and he's just like, dum-da-dum-da-dum. He just gets fucking
it was supposed to be like
annihilated.
old hat. Like, he's done it time and time again, but no. This was the time.
It would have been funny if Krause just kept, like, losing body parts throughout the course of the movie.
See,
like, he lost
that's
his
a good
fingers
idea.
And he lost an arm later.
Like, that's a good idea. They need to hire us for this shit.
Yeah, you want a dumbass movie, like,
yeah,
you.
We can make a dumbass movie that somebody might even enjoy.
Yeah.
And it won't be featured on Three Losers podcast where they talk about crappy movies and shit on vampires and Italian people.
So the guards run up and shoot some tranks into Paul. They get him back to the pool as more of King's guards are deployed. I don't know where all these guards are coming from. Tom, Amelia, and Whitney fight off some guards. While back at the lab, Paul gets lowered onto an examination table. Now, here's the big twist of the podcast. I don't know where the rest of my notes are.
Oh, dear God.
That is awesome. That's the best thing I heard all night.
So we're going to have to cobble this fucking thing together out of memory.
Out of memory from a movie that we watched 3 weeks ago.
And it's somehow going to be better than the real thing.
So, if anybody has any idea what happens
I know that at some point the girl with the good hair comes back in and they try to force that to happen.
I'm sorry.
Some more of that
like,
box control happens and...
Like, seriously, I'm just going along with my notes, and I get to about where we are, and I notice that up next is my notes for for the questions. I'm like, uh-oh.
This is amazing.
Now, I know for a fact that I took these notes. I finished this movie, but I don't know what happened to them.
This is unprecedented territory we're in right here, fellas.
All right, you know what? I got the movie up right now.
We're not watching the movie.
I'm just checking through what's going on. So there's like a boat fight. There's a boat fight that happens with
This is a fucking mess.
Largely
it's
stock
be
footage.
like Red explaining the rest of the movie. There's two boats and they're like, "Meh," and then they took the gun and they.
And then the shark comes out. It's like.
Tom and Whitney destroy the boats. Oh my god. They get to a helicopter. There's another gunfight. Fuck.
It really doesn't matter, folks.
Whitney tries to pilot the helicopter. They just get shot to shit. The helicopter blows up.
At some point, you're gonna have to cue the fucking jumping bean music, because there's John going through at 1.5 speed on his movie.
Yeah. There's a fucking disgusting shot of Tom and Amelia kissing.
I thought you were just gonna say a disgusting shot of Tom, which would have been true for most of this movie.
It's super close up. My note on that is just gross.
The same thing she was thinking.
Yeah. Oh my god, there's so much stock footage.
What do you think Tom's mouth tastes like?
Oh, I'm thinking he's a baked beans guy.
I was gonna say sour cream and onion Pringles and hog's head cheese.
Oh shit.
So like after the helicopter explodes, for some reason, Whitney and Amelia get taken in, but Tom gets away, even though they were all like in the explosion.
Oh my god.
Welcome back, folks.
Well, the Egyptians at the top of this podcast were right.
Yeah.
Tom goes out to the boat that the couple from the beginning was on, finds like a flare gun and like a spear gun.
He's gonna make a boomstick.
He's like taping them together like Ripley.
I swear to God, I don't know what the hell happened to the rest of the
No, I got this.
Keep going.
Dr. King just like keeps injecting Amelia with stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
none of it explained. Yeah, just in the armpit, like all over the place. So he's gonna get Paul to like shark fuck Amelia. Right. Oh, and then they like they feed Whitney's face to Paul. They like force his head into the
I forgot
tank
about
that
part.
In.
Yeah.
It looks like shit though, so it's not even cool.
I guess that's supposed to be some sort of weird foreplay for a shark.
Tom goes to like the greenhouse, fills up a like a pesticide sprayer with nitrogen.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
It looks like a windshield wiper fluid. Oh Christ. And then he just rolls up in that place. Start shooting motherfuckers in the back.
That's when it's time to kick some back.
Yeah, so he spear guns a guy in the gut. Shoots King in the back, I think. Or King gets his arm bit off by Paul.
Is King the guy from The Frighteners? Okay.
Yes.
That just came rushing to my head all of a sudden. Okay.
Well, he's the whole reason I wanted to watch this movie, because I like him a lot.
He was cool in The Frighteners.
And when he was on screen in this, I was, it was all right. But
yeah, and I remember you saying that he was in this, but I kept waiting for him to show up because I didn't recognize him right away.
Can we watch The Frighteners next week? I know it's not a shark movie, but neither is this.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I've got something close. I've got something close for us for next week.
Is it Ghost Shark? Fuck.
It
is. It is.
So anyway,
Oh, son of a
God
bitch.
damn it.
So anyway, like, Tom rolls in there and just starts spraying Paul in the mouth with nitrogen. Just shooting its mouth. And then he's trying to undo Amelia's straps, and she grabs the sprayer and starts spraying it in the mouth. There's all these shots of it just getting a mouthful of nitrogen.
How do you even know that that's going to be effective?
Well, they said it
Yeah,
earlier in the movie.
Isn't the whole thing like nitrogen's in it? Like it's like, I can't talk. Nitrogen, it doesn't have nitrogen, so it doesn't get the bends or whatever when it's going up and down. Well, that's not entering into its lungs. Wait, sharks don't have lungs. What the hell's going on here?
I honestly don't know.
He's a shark man. He may have
This
lungs.
is a stupid idea for a movie. Keep going, John. I'm sorry.
Just end it. Just
Sorry,
end
I'm
it,
just
John.
like, I'm watching the part where they just keep spraying it in the mouth. It's so funny. And then it just explodes. The Sharkman explodes because of the nitrogen to the mouth. You know, a shark takes enough nitrogen to the mouth, and it's just that's the reaction. Explosions. Whew. And then they think King's dead, but surprise, he's not. And then they're shooting all the blood bags and crap in the hallway. They're shooting all the embryos that he kept.
The baby Jesus shark fetuses are getting.
Yeah. And then Tom just like walks into the room and casually shoots King in the back.
He's always shooting people in the back.
He is.
It wasn't so much casually as much as he was out of breath.
And then they just go to town shooting everything. It's like that scene in Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
Where Ripley's fucking up all of her clones. And then they do the worst slow motion run from an exploding building I've probably ever seen.
I don't remember it.
Terrible green screen, terrible CG explosion. It's dog shit. And then that's pretty much it. Then they're like walking down the beach, and Amelia's like, I hate violence or something. Wait, what's the actual line here? She's like, I would have done anything. There was a time I would have done anything to stop all the pain.
That's it?
But now, honey, that's it. And then they like kiss or something. And then credits.
Oh my god. Worst episode
I don't know.
ever.
Actually, pretty good episode. Pretty solid.
Damn it.
Yeah, then there's like a shot from under the water. Like, I don't know what they're trying to get across here.
Oh man. All right.
God.
Well,
this thing sucked, man.
I
It really
royally
sucked.
dropped the ball on this one.
It's all right. It happens.
Something was telling me before we started, you might want to go through those notes.
Yeah,
It's
what
been
would
a
have
while
happened?
since
You
you
would
watched
have saw they
this
wasn't
movie.
there and you would have panicked. We're fine.
Well, we could have
John
not
saved
started.
the day. Oh no, we were going to
We
start
could've
because
watched
this shit's happening. On to Ghost Dad, apparently. I mean, not Ghost Dad, Ghost Shark.
We gotta do the questions first. Hopefully they don't come from the end of the movie.
Dude, it doesn't matter. I don't remember shit about this movie.
Yeah, you guys aren't getting. You're not going to get any of them. It
Yeah, I
doesn't
don't
matter.
remember shit about it.
All right.
Yes.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Right. Question 1. What was the name of the boat in the opening scene?
I actually think I know that one.
All right. Question 2. What is the date of the first log that came
Yup.
Yeah. Question 3. What is the number on the tail of the blue helicopter?
I know one helicopter number, but I know it morphed several times.
The blue helicopter that Whitney tries
Lord.
to pilot, not the...
Oh, shit. I don't think it's going to be this one.
That's gonna be a guess.
Question 4. When Tom gets back to the sailboat from the opening, what brand of cereal
I got that one.
is
Oh,
is
I
in
got
the
that
cabin?
one.
yes.
And finally, question 5. Which arm does King have bitten off?
Ooh, 50-50
Yeah.
shot. Going with my gut.
I think I might do pretty good.
All right.
Pretty sure I got 2 of them.
What was the name of the boat?
The Nona.
The Nona.
The Nona is correct.
Right.
What was the date of King's first
April
log?
15th.
April 11th.
April
Damn.
11th is correct. What was the number on the tail of the blue helicopter?
430.
666.
430 is correct.
You always got to remember numbers, Chase.
I know.
What brand of cereal was in the cabin of the boat?
Cornflakes.
Cheerios.
Cornflakes is correct.
Oh.
And finally, which arm does King have bitten off?
The right arm.
Right arm.
Right arm is correct. That's pretty good, you guys.
Yeah, I got
considering.
4.
We're tied,
both-
6-6.
Both got 4 on that one, right?
Nope, I got 3, but I was 1 ahead from last time, so we're tied, 6-6.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. Very cool. All right. You guys ready to hear about
Ready
the
to hear
next
about
movie?
Ghost Shark, yeah?
Yeah.
It's kind of like half a suggestion. They got a suggestion on Instagram for Ghost Shark 2.
Ay, ay, ay.
And I was like, well, kind of got to see Ghost Shark 1 first, right? So we're going to be watching Ghost Shark 1. It's
Oh,
on
come
YouTube. Got to see the first
No,
one.
we don't.
You can't skip to Ghost Shark 2 Urban Jaws.
Oh, that'd have been so cool.
Ghost Shark 1 looks great. I'm excited about Ghost Shark. It's from 2013.
Is the last movie of Shark Month going to be Ghost Shark 2?
Please.
We'll see how
God
Ghost Shark
damn it.
1 goes.
We figured the whole thing out. It's like fucking Star Wars leaks over here.
Continue.
Okay. It's directed by Griff First.
I hate it already.
It's 87 minutes. Has a 29% Rotten Tomatoes score. 3.3 out of 10 on IMDb. No real Amazon score, because for some reason, the only listing on Amazon is for like foreign Blu-ray copies of it. Starring Richard Mall, who was Harvey Dent in the Batman animated series. Also Emperor Spooge in the Superman animated series.
Wait,
What?
whoa.
That's what it says.
It's
Emperor
a character
Spooge.
in Superman?
Spooj. Spooge.
Son of a bitch.
Thomas Francis Murphy, Robert Aberdeen, Jamie Bone, Elliot Brasso. It was filmed in Louisiana, so that's fun. Synopsis. When rednecks on a fishing trip
Thanks.
kill a great white shark,
It's filmed in Louisiana.
It's
Bunch
spirit-
of rednecks out on a boat.
Do something
Yeah.
stupid, as usual.
its spirit comes back for revenge and soon turns its sights on the town of Smallport. Teenage Ava, her younger sister Cicely, and friend Blaze witness the start of the Ghost Shark's rampage, but the authorities don't believe their story. With the help of a crotchety lighthouse keeper named Finch, the teens discover that the spectral shark can hunt wherever there's water. and that the town's dark past may provide the clues they need to defeat it. Some reviews. So stupid I had to watch the whole thing.
I know that feeling.
Bad, but in a hilarious way rather than an infuriating way. And then like a professional one, Diane Wirtz of Newsday says, Sharknado was just a concept. Ghost Shark is a sustained delight.
What a bitch.
Fuck Sharknado.
Nobody named Griff ever did anything positive with their lives.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair.
Wasn't that Biff's grandson?
Yeah, that was future Biff.
That was Griff with the pit bull. Yeah. This movie's gonna suck.
It looks like fun to me. I've seen like one clip of a series of attacks, and it's good stuff. It's pretty
All
funny.
right. No. You the boss.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We back in it, boys.
Christ. Oh Lord. Okay, well, let me put this out of its misery. We'd like to thank everybody.
We're rusty. That's all.
We've been on a roll bitching about Star Wars for 2 weeks.
Which was entertaining. I will tell you. Hold on, I'm dying. It was entertaining. I enjoyed listening to it.
So, thank you all for bearing with us this week as we stumble back into our pace. If you would leave us a review on iTunes, I don't like asking that one after this
talking about.
Don't review this episode. Just in general.
I think people are going to be so happy that I'm back involved that anything that happened bad, they're going to oversee. Because Blake's back, and he's talking about hookers and shit.
Blake's back on his bullshit.
So you can do that. You can find us online at facebook.com/garbagetheater, on Instagram at garbage_theater. If you'd like to send us a movie pick, we're a couple episodes away from a new season. Send them our way. We might watch them. Who knows? You can send them to any of our social channels. You can send them to us directly at garbagetheaterpodcast@gmail.com.
I'll definitely use them if you send them because I can't stand doing research. So if you send a movie, I'll use it.
Oh, yeah. All right, there we go. Is it sad that when Blake, when you said that we're going to be watching Ghost Shark, I thought of that Forrest Whitaker samurai movie? Yes. I thought that's what you were talking about. I thought that's what you were talking about at first.
No. Ghost Dog's actually it's a good shitty movie.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, just because it has shark in the title doesn't mean it counts. But then
most movies that have Forrest Whitaker in it are pretty good, except for Rogue One.
If only we could all have a Forrest Whitaker to raise our children for us.
I know, man. Sometimes I'm just so sick of raising my kids and just goddamn, I wish I had a Forrest Whitaker right now.
Also,
if I had Forrest
I'm
Whitaker's
totally
number,
with you. They didn't need to show Vader's fucking Bowser's castle in a fucking movie.
What are you gonna?
Enough about Star Wars.
Vader didn't need to be in the movie at all, really.
No. I'm glad he was at the end, but like I said, it was just, let's put this in here before time's up, and boom.
Yeah.
Well, irregardless, that's it for this. Tune in next time when we watch Ghost Shark 1. And then probably 2 right after it if I was a betting man. We'll see you then, folks.